Hey y'all, welcome to this Canvas tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at discussion, so adding a discussion to one of your courses. Currently, as you can see, we're in the Canvas portal. We're going to go ahead and open up a course. This is my sandbox course. And to find discussions, it is the third listing in your course menu in the upper left. So we click discussions, we get into our discussion interface area. There are pinned discussion area. Discussions could be posted in kind of the active or middle discussions area, and then there's a closed for comments area, and you can see I have a discussion down here. You can move these around in a couple of different ways. One of the ways to do it here is by clicking on the options menu in the lower right, the little 3 marshmallow button. If you click that, I could open it back up for comments, and it will move it into the discussion area. Or for instance, if I wanted to pin it, I can drag it from discussion area into pinned discussions, and you can see in options that it is now pinned, and I can unpin it if I want to pop it back down in discussions. So it's a way of sort of looking at your discussions if you use a lot of discussions and kind of keeping them organized. Up here at the top, if you had a lot of discussions, you can click to see which ones are unread, which posts have been, which discussions have posts that have not been read yet. You can also search discussions for author posts or by title if you've got lots of discussions going on. All right, so enough about the interface. Let's take a look at how to create a discussion. We create a discussion in the upper right by clicking the blue plus discussion button. It's going to open up a form very similar to what we see with assignments and quizzes. Let's say we are creating a introduce yourselves discussion. At the beginning of the year, we want our students maybe to introduce themselves. Please write a short paragraph about yourself and your interests. Make sure to post an image of yourself and at least 3 images of your, let's say, family, pets, or hobbies. All right, so now we've got our prompt. So all discussions need a prompt. This one's kind of task-oriented to some degree, but you can have lots of different prompts. The sky's kind of the limit. This is all happening here in what's called the rich content editor, and so it looks a lot like a word processor. It has a similar feel to like Google Docs or something along those lines. There are some ways to add images and video. You can add math equations, Khan Academy content. This will drop down more sort of tools. If you've got tools that are integrated into Canvas, you can post a video, record a video, and so on. So this is the rich content editor. If we post down here, let's see if we scroll, down here, we can get to post to. So you can post to multiple sections. If you have lots of sections, or if you had sections within a class. Let's say I have 3 English 1 classes. I might choose to actually post it just to one English class at a time so that not everybody's in the discussion. Or you can post to all sections and then everybody's kind of invited into that discussion. So something to think about when you're creating your discussion. If you needed them to be looking at or reacting to something that was file-based, you can attach a file to a discussion, so you can click that and get the File Explorer window up and choose a file to add there. Let's talk about options. So when it comes to options, most of the discussions are what are called focused discussions by default, and but if you like threaded discussions, you can click this option and that will enable threaded replies. So it's kind of the way that a discussion is structured. One of the ones I like to use a lot so that people kind of have to come up with their own ideas first is that users must post before seeing replies. So if this is selected, when a student comes to the discussion board, they can't see anybody else's post until they have posted their first post. And then they can kind of go on to respond to other people. So that's a handy option. This option is kind of an advanced option, kind of outside the scope of this tutorial, but basically you can create a feed similar to a podcast feed so people could track the discussion in other places. Graded, you can assign points. Clearly, if this was a completion point kind of assignment, I could grade this introduce yourselves by leaving that clicked. Notice what happens here is the add to student to do goes away. And the reason for that when you click graded is because when it's graded, it automatically gets added to the student to do list. So it's not even an option anymore. If it wasn't graded, you could click the add to student to do, and you could put a target date down there in order to encourage them to participate. And then there is a function to allow liking. That can lead to sort of popularity contests, and so you can leave it unchecked if you would like. You can assign groups discussions to specific groups. So if you had projects, for instance, going on in your class, and you had different teams working on projects, you might want to put a discussion board together to allow them to come and collaborate on what they're doing and share files and those kinds of things. And so this might be an option for you. If you click this as a group discussion, you'll need to select a group category, and you can create new categories, group categories. All right, finally, you've got available from date and available until date. And so that creates the window in which the discussion is open for students to come in and participate. I think that's probably pretty self-explanatory. Once you have it set, let's say I want to create this from the 24th of August, and they'll have that week until the 28th. So you can see an example of that. Let's say I make it graded, and I want users to post, they have to post before they see replies. All right, that's fantastic. One of the things you can do, now I have to have a due date in here because I chose graded. So let me put the 28th in, and I will put back in my dates. All right, so now we have it's complete minus the points. Let me assign some points for it. Okay, and I might ask them to not only make the post, but then to go and respond to other people's posts, right? Be sure to respond to at least 3 classmates by introducing yourself and commenting on a hobby or interest. All right. So we can alter that. So once we're all set, we can either save and publish or save, and if we're not ready to actually share that with students yet. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and publish. All right, so here we're looking at kind of a snapshot, and this is kind of sometimes it's not as intuitive as it looks. This is similar to what students would see. Here we can search entries or author, and we've got some filters that we can use here. If we wanted to reply to this, like I had to, if I want to put these in here, because of course my students would want to know me too, so I would do the same thing. I can click reply here in order to actually post the first post in here. It gives me the attachment, it gives me my rich content editor so that I can put things in here and I could respond. For the sake of brevity, I am going to head back over into the discussions area so we can see where this landed in our discussion area. So one of the things to note with a graded discussion is it shows up. So I have it here in discussions. I might want to pin that because it'll be active soon. And so I put that in here. Additionally, because it's a graded assignment, if I go take a look at my calendar, for instance, for the course, it is likely that what should happen is that under calendar, it takes a minute for the calendar to come up. All right, in my calendar here, you can see that on Friday the 28th, I had to activate my calendar over here so I can see it. You can click these on and off, very similar to Google Calendars and other calendaring systems. I've got 2 assignments currently in my Sandbox course. Introduce yourselves is the discussion I just posted. In addition to it being on the calendar, because it's a graded discussion, if we click assignments, you can see here that it has posted under assignments because it falls into that Canvas assignment category because it has grades. If we didn't post assignment grades here, it wouldn't show up in assignments. We would just look for it in our discussion area. All right, so hopefully that gives you a pretty strong overview or a pretty comprehensive overview of the discussion and how to add a discussion and kind of keep your discussions organized in Canvas. Thanks for your time and attention, and I will catch you in the next tutorial.